What's up guys? Today I'm here to show you some updates that I've been making to the FlowTech server control panels. So if you have one of those already, you're gonna know that this is a huge update. It's they work completely differently now. They look completely differently now, and it's a huge update. It's actually the first time I've felt comfortable enough with it to call it version 1. Before I always kind of considered it beta versions of the control panels, but now I'm calling it version 1 for sure now. So this is a huge update, and the first thing you're going to notice is you used to go to a different website to enter your server panel address, and you would log in there, and it was kind of a hassle to remember all that, and you couldn't change the password, you couldn't do any of that. So as many of you know, I made this website, racing website. It's called mxslobby.com, and the servers are actually run through the MXS lobby accounts now. So the first new thing, I guess, is that you're gonna have to have an MXS lobby account if you're gonna want to make if you're gonna want to have a server. So I know many of you that have servers already have one, but if you have a server currently and you don't have an MXS lobby account, that's gonna be the first step for transferring over. Is you're gonna need to make an MXS lobby account, and most likely you're seeing this video because you've gotten an email alerting you that things are changing and you gotta change your stuff over. So hopefully you've done that by now. So to get to the server control panel, first you log in on MXS Lobby. As you can see, I'm already logged in, and then in this drop down on the left, you'll see you now have a new option called Server Dashboard. And people who don't own a server aren't allowed to go to this link, even if they manually enter the link you'll see up here, and it'll redirect them away from it. So if you go ahead and click on the server dashboard, it'll take you straight to it. As you can see, it's kind of a weird link, and that's why there's a link to it on the main site instead of having its own separate thing, is because it's kind of encryption and things make it kind of weird. So first off, I'm sure you're going to notice right away it doesn't look anything like the old control panel does. It's actually not reusing any of that old code at all, besides some of the actual server functionality. It doesn't. The design is completely different code. So as you can see, there's some useful info up here, and then you have a drop down right here that says My Servers. And what that means is if you have multiple servers from us, it'll all show up right here. You'll be able to easily click on them to make them your active server that you can interact with, and your active server is listed up here, as you can see. The first thing you see here is the server name, so that's like what you can customize to like your team name or whatever it is. You can customize that, and then the port, obviously. And down here is probably the only thing that looks somewhat familiar is these commands right here. They're all the same commands. They work the same, except for start and stop actually are a little bit different now, but all this stuff, restart, lock, unlock, force play all, just general commands that make it easier than typing them in. You could do it remotely. Here is the send broadcast, which is similar to the other thing, except now if you type some crazy thing in, you can just reset it instead of having to delete it all. That's the only new thing there, really, but obviously, as you can see, the UI is completely different. It's fluid, it's actually optimized to work on all screen sizes, so you can use this on your phone, you can use this on whatever, and it's going to look like it's meant for that device. So you can see I can mess with the UI, I can make all this stuff drag itself into each other, and now that it's a really small thing like this, I can close these, I can do whatever I want. These changes aren't actually saved. As you can see, it just reloads like normal, but it's just a nice UI effect. Makes things look a little nicer if you just need to focus on one thing for some reason. You can see here execute script that I don't have any scripts in here right now, but that's alright. We'll deal with that later when I show you some other things. This is actually a fresh server install, so this is what it's going to look like for you if you just get a server. You're going to see all this stuff and it's going to look exactly the same. As you can see, the player list is empty, obviously because nobody's in the server right now because it's not on. But we'll deal with that in a second also. So as you can see right now, we're on the dashboard tab. It's the default tab that you load into when you click on the server link. We're going to go down these tabs and kind of see what's new. We're going to skip racing and scripts for now, and we're going to go to tracks. So as you can see, I have nothing in there, and that's what it's going to look like when you first get your server. This is all going to be empty. You won't even have a track info here. I've actually already uploaded that. But let's see what happens if we run the server right now. Before, if you ran the server with no tracks in it and the old control panel, it would just break it. So if you go ahead and click start, you're going to notice it takes about a second to start and then it's started. So if we go over to the game and connect to this server, and as you can see, I've loaded into Allcrest. So this is a new feature. The server will automatically set the track to Allcrest if you have no tracks in the track list. It's just kind of a nice feature. Instead of just breaking the control panel, it'll still start, but it'll only have Allcrest in it. Obviously, I don't just want to play on Allcrest, so if I stop the server and we'll go make a track list real quick. So let's say I had no track info here, which I already do, obviously, because I was testing. And I need to add some track infos if I want to add a track, obviously. So let's say I have some on my desktop, which I do. I have a bunch. I have actually all the 2015 Supercross ones right here. Let's just go ahead and click them all and drag them over and just drop them in this box here where it says drop here to upload. As you can see, it highlights itself, showing you that you're dragging it the right place. And if I drop them here, it'll say that it uploaded all of these, and in 1 second it'll refresh my page. And now you can see I have all those track infos in here. And to add a new track, there's this plus button next to the expand and collapse button right here. And as you can see, this nice little pop-up comes up. So if we want to add, let's say Anaheim, we'll add for 5 laps and no minutes. We'll go ahead and add that. And as you can see, it adds one track into the list where we can delete the track or we can set the track. For now, we're going to add a couple more tracks to see some new features. So we'll add Phoenix for 5 laps and 0 minutes. And we will add Anaheim too for the last track for the same amount of time. So as you can see, it has a list here. We can move tracks up and down. We can delete them from the list. There's actually one old thing that persists about the old control panels is in order for the changes on this track list to take effect, you need to restart the server. And that's not a limitation I can fix as of the moment because of the way the game loads tracks. It needs to be executed on load the way I do it. So for now, we're just gonna leave it like this, and then we're gonna go ahead and go restart the server. And as you can see, if we go back in here now, the track will automatically take us to the first one in our list, which is Supercross 2015 Round 1 Anaheim. And if I load in, looks like I'm not responding. There we go, I loaded in. As you can see, Anaheim is the only track in here. We didn't go to Allcrest like you would used to in the old servers. So it takes care of all that for you automatically, whereas you used to have to do it by yourself to get rid of Allcrest. So that's a big thing for me to have changed. I know it seems like a really simple thing, but it was actually probably the most complicated thing to fix in this entire control panel setup we have here. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and set the track. So you can see right here there's a column with these check marks in it that are clickable. So if you click one of them, it'll say track will change to, and then it'll give you the track info, and then it'll tell you how many laps and minutes, and it tells you on next restart. So we can either go over here and click restart, or we could restart from in server, but we're going to do it here. And remember, I picked Anaheim 2. So now see, I'm loading a new track, and when I load, it will be Anaheim 2. See, Anaheim 2, we skipped over Phoenix and we went straight here. Just quickly, I'll show you, we can mess with the order. We can move Anaheim to the first position. We can move the other Anaheim to the last position. We can delete this Anaheim if we want. We can do whatever we want. We can move stuff around. It's really easy. But always remember when you edit your track list to stop your server and start it, or else changes won't take effect. So we're quickly going to go over the scripts tab. It's very simple. So if I have a script, an MX server script to be specific, that I want to upload to the server, I can go ahead and get it. They have to be the .mxs file extension, and if you know what scripts are, you most likely don't need me to explain it. I have a video on scripts already if you don't know what they are. But we'll go ahead and drag this script file I've made. It's just a simple script that restarts the server. Not really useful, but it's just for test purposes. So we'll drag it just like the tracks. It'll tell you it uploaded, and then it'll refresh. And now you can see I have a script in here. And there's actually 2 more things that we can see here. We can see the delete script, and we can see the script editor. Delete script is obvious. You pick the script file, click delete, deletes it. Script editor is a little bit more involved. You just select the script, and then this will come up, and it's just you have a preview of your script, and it's editable. So we can click in here and edit it if we want. We can add a line that says, I don't know, broadcast that the server is restarting. And then we can save that edited script, and as you can see, it's saved. So if we go back to the dashboard and we execute this script, we're in server right now, It's going to happen so quickly that you most likely won't see the broadcast, but we can go ahead and click it anyways. And as you can see, it said restarting right here. If we look right here, it says restarting. So it does work. You can edit your scripts, do whatever you want with them. So that's really it for the scripts. You select a script, you can delete scripts, like say we want to get rid of it, and they're gone. So quickly we'll look at settings. It's just like the other control panel settings were. You can change your greeting, your max players, your max clients, your interval, your laps. The only thing that's a little bit different is for admin and marshal UIDs, there aren't multiple boxes for them anymore. You have to separate them by a semicolon. So let's say that's me and like say JLV's UID, that would make us both admins. So just for every whatever random UID you want, you separate them by a semicolon. And you do the same thing for marshals. Obviously if there's only one UID, you don't need to separate it. But for each extra UID you add, you separate it with a semicolon. And when you're done, you can click submit. Or if I change stuff and didn't like it, like I don't know, just random, and we click reset, that all resets to what it was before. So the other thing you can see down here is the ban list. You'll notice when we go back and look at the player list that you can actually ban people directly from this player list over here. But you can add a custom reason to the player list. As you can see, there's just a ban button. So if you needed to add a reason to the ban, or you needed to ban someone that wasn't in your server at the time that you needed to ban them, this is where you would do it. And as you can see, all bans are permanent, so there isn't a way to change the ban time. Just when their ban is up, go ahead and delete the ban. So we'll just ban me for now so we can see what it does, and we'll say testing bans like this does right here, and we'll ban. So as you can see, it added a ban here. The only thing with this is if I'm currently in the server, it won't ban me. So if you're banning somebody that's like in the server and I don't know, you still want to add a reason later for some reason, you can use this button over here and ban them. And what that does is, if you can see right now, I'm going to click ban. If I go look in server, it kicks me out of the server and also adds me to the ban list. But bans from over here will always have the reason banned from console. So if you wanted a custom reason, you would just delete that ban and then add it again with the reason. So right now, if I try to connect to my server, you're gonna see that it says ban permanently, which just because they're all permanent, and it'll give me the reason that I have here, which was testing bans. The ban list is actually automatically updated every time you edit it or add a ban. So if you go ahead and delete this, I don't need to stop and start the server. I can just connect and I'm not banned anymore. So the last thing to go over here is the player list and the broadcast, which is just simple. You can say I am sending a broadcast, which I can't spell today, and then send it, and as you can see, it shows it over here in red exactly what I typed. So that's all there is to that. It's really simple. It's just easy broadcast, so you don't have to type it in server. And now down here we'll go over the player list. It'll have the player name, the in-game name, so as you can see that's my in-game name. It'll have my UID and my slot. Slots are basically, you're only going to ever need to know what that is if you're kicking somebody, but that does it for you, but it's just there in case you need it for some reason. And then it'll tell you their status. So as I'm the only player in here right now, it's always going to say player, because the server won't let the server just run with spectators on. So if there was someone else in here, there'd be a tag that said spectator and it would be in red instead of green. But as you can see, we have all these options here, most of which we're not really going to be able to demonstrate because I'm the only one in the server. But as you can see, force playing just forces them into the race. Force specking force specs me, so it puts me in spectate mode. Eliminate is actually just an elimination race script that I made. I just repurposed it to the player list instead of being in its own separate thing like it used to be. You can go ahead and click eliminate, and what that'll do is force spec me, and then it also broadcast it to the server, my name, and then from my team eliminated. So that's what there is to that. You already saw the ban button, and then kick will just kick me out like it did with the ban, and then these two, like I already said, so we'll just kick me to end this, and as you can see, I'm off the player list because it kicked me out of the server. So the last thing we're going to talk about is the racing tab, and as you can see, it's a little bit advanced. I even put this disclaimer here. People will need to watch the tutorial video before they use this, or else it isn't going to make much sense. So as you can see, if I collapse all of these, there's 3 separate sections. We have sign up Supercross races, we have no sign up Supercross races, and we have motocross races. Now sign up Supercross races require a sign up file. So the sign up file it's asking for here is something I've actually created myself. What it is just a text file. You can name it whatever you want, and it has each signed up person's UID in one line. So like say I had more people, just random UIDs, they'd each take their own line. Um, However you generate this is up to you. I have a tool out there. Certain sites already generate these. You can do however you want. Basically, the server will take the order that you have in this file. So like if you have qualifying or something, you'd put them in order in this signup file. Like that would mean I was top qualifier, and then this is second qualifier, and so on. And so it's expecting it to be in the order that you want riders put in it. But essentially, it's just a text file with a UID on each line for each UID you want signed in. And what that's going to do is only let those people into the races, and it'll put them in the correct order, like I said. So that's what there is to this. I've actually gone over it more in depth in another video that I'll link in case you need more explanation with it, but that's pretty much the gist of that. So if you were making a sign up Supercross race, the first step is to name the class. So we'll call it class name. And then riders allowed is how many riders you're going to let in. So if top 40 qualify for Supercross, you're going to go ahead and put 40 here. And then all bikes or lights or full size or 125 or two-stroke, whatever, that's just going to be what's homologated for the race. So we'll just say all bikes for now. Sign up file, I already had that signups.txt. Oops. And as you can, it was just me and JLV's UID actually. So for the initial making of the scripts, if you're just splitting the heats, that's all you need to do. You don't need any of this yet. And you're gonna go ahead and click make scripts, and as you can see, it made my class name heat 1 and 2. And if we execute these and go look at the server, we actually got black flagged ourselves. So we'll have to do that again. We'll execute the script. You can see it puts me in this one, and since I'm the only one in here, there's gonna be no people in heat 2. So after the 2 heats have gone off, there will be results posted to the server page like they do for other servers. So you're going to want to go ahead and go to those and grab the URLs. Say this was heat 1, I'd paste it in here, and then you'd get heat 2 and paste it back in there. Riders allowed from heats is like saying top however many transfer. So say you put 5 here, that means it's going to let 5 from heat 1, 5 from heat 2 to the main event. So these are the only things you need to have for that step, just the class name, the two results, and the riders allowed. You don't need to have signups anymore, and you don't need the LCQ results or the riders allowed. And you would make scripts, and then that would generate a main event and an LCQ in case you weren't running an LCQ. But then you just repeat this step with adding the LCQ onto it after the LCQ. And for that part, you actually need all of these except for the signup file and riders allowed. So that's basically what these do. This one is no sign-up Supercross races. It's really easy. It'll just split heats. You'll make a class name, total riders you want on, and it'll randomly split the heats based on when the person joined the server. So that's what that's for. That's if you don't have sign-ups. And then motocross races is very similar to Supercross, sign-up Supercross races. You'll see what it asks you for. Like riders allowed in total means that if you're taking top 36 into the motos and then you're having a consi, you're going to write 76 here because that means there's going to be a 40-person consi. So just keep in mind that that's the total riders. And then straight to the moto, like I said, top 36, so you have 76 here and 36 here. And then bikes allowed, same thing, sign up file, same thing. And then if you were splitting the initially to the consi and to the moto, you would just do that. And then once you've ran the consi and you have the consi results like you did for the heats, you actually need to fill in everything again because motocross is slightly different where you need the sign up file again. So for motocross races, just remember every time you make scripts, you need to have the sign up file and you need to have the riders allowed and the riders allowed straight to the moto, unlike in Supercross. Like I said, I've explained this much deeper and taken my time a lot more with it in another video that I'll link, but if you kind of understand what I'm talking about, that would have been pretty simple to you.